Let's talk about it. So, at the moment, you all know that Diddy is found guilty on two out of the five charges, which the charges are he was charged with racketeering, conspiracy, sexual trafficking by fraud, force, or coercion. These two was found not guilty. Well, three of them, two of them repetitive, and the two repetitive that he was found guilty of is transportation and the purpose for prostitution. They used the Mann Act in order to find guilt to use against Diddy in order to find him guilty. So in 1910, Congress passed a bill which was named after Republican U.S. representative called James Robert Mann in Illinois. It was also known as the White Slave Traffic Act in 1910. However, Combs convicted involved two girls, R&B singer Cassie and another woman, which was known as Jane, and her identity was not revealed. Both girls said that they felt they were pressured and put under horrible conditions in order for them to travel and do these acts. There were also, times where Cassie stated that he had made videos of her which he wasn't supposed to doing certain acts with other people, and said that he would show this to her mom and to the rest of the world if she doesn't continue with what he called those, I don't know, those capades, you know. But yeah, a lot of people back in the day used to always say that that was used against black men, because black men would obviously have interracial relationships, and they would travel with their women, and they would say that they were trafficking them for sexual favors, which was not true. In 2018, Donald Trump had pardoned Johnson, a famous boxer, who served 10 months in prison for the same for an act, which was interesting because he was married to the woman, and because he was married to her, and there were other, obviously he had other women, but the fact that he traveled with them, and they said that he was soliciting fornication. And a lot of people used to get in trouble over this act because even though it was consensual, racist, melanin didn't like that because, they were moving around in a way that they wish they could have moved around. But in all, all this, even though whether Diddy is guilty or not, or he did these things or not, there could have been much better ways that Diddy could have, you know, um, acted or promote himself as a Mongol, right? As a person who is of his stature. This guy could have, you know, used his money much more wisely. He could have helped a lot more people instead of using his money to put people in a position of, I don't know, subservient to him, you know. Especially when you know how some people in Harlem are living, some people in the Bronx are living, some people in Brooklyn are living, some people in Queens, the five boroughs are living. Like, you could set up some kind of business, some kind of tech, something for the schools. I mean, they even gave this guy a key for the city, but what did he really do for that? How did he earn that? There's just too much corruption when it comes to people that have a lot of money, people who are famous. It's just too much, too much, too much. To be honest with you, I believe Diddy did something that they didn't like, and he started talking about having, you know, politicians for just black people to represent themselves, and he also found out that he was being ripped off and sued the company and won. Yes, I understand these things, but his behavior didn't match what he was saying, and it was easy for them to go after him because we all know that there are many people who are worse off. There are people saying even Jay-Z is worse off than Diddy. You know, I mean, why is Diddy being brought to court for these things with only five charges? Let's say they had 10, they'll bring him down to five. but we have a person with 34, and he's allowed to run for the presidency. And look what he's doing now. He has 34 convictions, but he's not in jail, which is very, very interesting. You have to really think about that. But now, Diddy is sitting praying, and nah, man, this is the time for prayer, and getting guidance was before all this. He's gonna have to spend some time in jail. I'm telling you, even though each one of those that he's found guilty for has a maximum of 10 years, but I'm pretty sure they're gonna give him at least 5. That's the least I think they're gonna give him is 5. And they didn't even let him out on bond. He offered a $1 million bond just to let him out, spend some time with his kids, his peoples, but they didn't even let him out. They found another way to keep him in jail, keep him locked up, even though he actually beat the system in a way. The federal court usually has, when the federal comes after you, they usually have like a 95%, success rate, and Diddy kind of beat that 95% if you really think about it. Because the one that they really wanted to get him on was a racketeer, and that's 25 to life, or 20 to life for sure. But he overall, that's why he's calling it a victory. But the main thing is he really victorious? Is he going to be able to come out in the world and really go back to who he was? No, it's not possible. And sometimes, the Father has a way of isolating you and taking everything away from you so that you could know that you need him. You need him, because all the riches, everything could be taken from you, but your relationship with the Father can't be taken away from you. And your guidance from him can't be taken away from you. He could have done a lot better with what he had than what he has done with what he has thus far. His behavior it's not something we need to, I would say, copy or admire or want to be. That behavior it's horrible. It's horrible. At the same time, now he's begging. He's reading the Bible. We can't just use the Bible when we want to use it. We have to use it when, even when things are doing good, and follow it as best we can. And I heard he was reading Psalms 11 throughout the time. It's not, that's not the time. It is, I mean, for him, yeah, but at the time, yeah, but we as a people need to set things up in a way that we're helping the community, not living off the community, and then you want the community not to try to help you in this sticky situation. Build schools, man. Build something. Do something. There's a lot of tech things coming out, do something to help the community, man. Not you above it, but you under it, to lift it, because you have the power to, you know. But we will see. We'll see how this thing ends up, because I think they didn't get him that way. They're gonna try to get him through this and give him at least 5 years. At least 5 years. I think it'll be more like 7 or 8, but I think he'll get at least 5 years. All right. Let me know in the comments what you think. Bless you.